fatherhood and being an activist in the community and speaking. And, the thing that's different with me, Joe, is that I'm 25 years old, right? And there are a lot of fathers who are my age, they're incarcerated. They're not able to be with their children. So I'm representing for them because I know they don't want to be in jail right now. They want to be outside with their son and daughter. And if they can have a chance to do it all over again, I know they would. But some of them don't. So who's going to take the role and be that one who's influencing their kids positively? Who's going to take that role and be that one who's going to be, asking their kids, how was your day? What you're doing in school? You have no idea how positive encouragement on a daily basis can motivate a kid. I'm just learning it.
Well, you can't replace a father.
Right.
Like if you are the father, you are the father. Of course, you can be the stepfather.
Right.
But like that blood connection is way stronger.
Right.
Like I don't mean to offend anyone who adopted children.
Sure.
But it's like if you adopt, it's like the kid can't do anything. If your dad is serving life, what can you do? I mean, you can visit him, whatever, but are you really gonna visit him every single day of your life?
Right.
You can't.
It's not gonna happen.
So the only way you can really fix that trend,
right,
is for him to pretty much be a better father himself. You pretty much have to give up on the other father because he's gonna be in jail for the rest of his life.
Right.
So what are you gonna do?
Right.
You can't have your wedding in a jail and let him see.
Sure.
You can't give birth to your child in jail so you can see his grandson.
Sure.
You can't
And it's sad, This is one of the things because you got to think about. Here's the thing, I'm thinking about that little kid, who's wanting his dad to come home from jail, but he's never going to do it.
It's sad, but it's the father's fault. You know what sends you to jail and what doesn't. It's not very hard to know that.
Right.
If you steal something from another person, you're gonna if you get caught. I mean, if you sell drugs, whatever, you know what's illegal.
Do you know why? Let me say this. I was watching CNN and there was an event on this guy. I can't recall his name. I think his name was Michael something. And he did an interview and he was saying how he was trying to fill out applications for jobs and he couldn't get one, right? And the same guy, a week later, 2 weeks later, ended up getting arrested and going to jail for robbery.
Yeah.
But he wasn't robbing a person because he's saying that they have something that I don't. He was robbing them because he couldn't get a job to feed his son and daughter. And there's different arguments or different ways you could say it. Some people could say, screw that. He knew better. He knew right from wrong. But when you fill out those 10, 20 applications, you haven't gotten a call back. You're facing a low deficit and the economy is extremely awful right now. Everybody's aware of that. Nobody's getting hired. Yet you still have a child and a daughter. Now I know a few outlets I wouldn't have taken that one. But who's to say he's going to think like me in that time of need? How do you get him to think differently?
Well, I guess he was so aware of all the risks and consequences.
Right.
Like I said before, you know what's illegal and what's not.
Okay.
And for instance, if you defeat your children, you would sell your body if you're a woman or something.
Right.
Because you have no other means.
Right. Do you think that's appropriate?
Well, I think that's appropriate. Well, I mean, prostitution is illegal, but honestly, it's why would you harm others, for instance, by robbing them? I would rather have you harm yourself first.
Okay, so
why would you steal another man's property to feed yours? Don't you think the other guy has his own children?
That's true.
That's
true.
For instance, you could do something to yourself. Okay, you might have no money or no jobs, but you could go to a pharmaceutical company and you could sell your body. I know it's messed up.
Sure.
And it's not good in the long run. But it's better doing it legally than illegally because if you do it illegally, you're taking that chance no matter what.
Sure.
There's always a chance. I would rather have someone sell their body than rob someone.
Sure.
Because at least you're you know what you're doing to yourself.
Right.
It's not anyone else is involved. The other person agreed to pay you.
Right.
But I understand it's a man, whatever, he can't do it. But regardless, why would you rob someone? You could do so many other things. Even though it's illegal, that won't send you to jail. Of course, robbery is going to send you to jail.
Right.
For instance, you could burn DVDs or sell them or something.
Sure, which actually could lead you to jail. I've seen that. Bootlegging on this.
It does, but it's not going to be as severe as robbery. I mean, of course, to an extent, depending on what company or whatever.
Right.
You can get caught.
Sure.
But it's at least you're doing it out of you're not harming
anyone. Right, you're
else.
not hurting anybody physically.
It's
taking
you're
away.
Doing it yourself.
Got you.
There's a difference between that. You can go to like the ends of the earth for your kids.
Right.
Or are you gonna drag someone down with you, or are you just gonna drag yourself down? It's like if you're gonna do that, like might as well just do something like that won't affect others.
Are you looking forward to being a father one day? How do you feel about that role once it comes?
Pumped.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like it's like that sense of like bloodline, you know?
Sure.
It's like history.
Right. Legacy. And you really that's like a few times you've mentioned,
Like,
bloodline and how important. It's really valuable to you.
I mean, it's not even that. Like, think about it. Like, think about like how crazy it is. It's just like you slept with a woman, or somehow got her pregnant, and life was given. Like, that's incredible. I mean, and it's half of that is just it's you. It
Yes.
really is you. Like,
Yes, it's you.
Like, if half of that is you, shouldn't you treat it at least half as good as you would treat yourself?
Yes.
I don't mean to call it it, but like
I know what you're saying. I absolutely understand. I can completely
It's
fathom.
like I don't think you understand. Like, you just think it's a kid, but it's actually you. Like,
And I know because you've seen. I don't know if you've seen my son with me when I'm coming here before. I don't think you were working the last time I came. I think one of your coworkers was working. I had my son with me. How you doing? But I have him with me because he, and I say this is joking, and he came obviously from me.
Yeah.
At one point he was in my testicles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's
He was
pretty.
the strongest of them all.
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
yeah.
You can joke about it a little bit, you know what I mean? But I think more parents need to take pride, particularly fathers, at their children. Recognize that, you got a lot of characteristics that's going to be in that next generation you just raised. And you also got to really recognize that when you're mating, you know that potentially you can breed an offspring during that time of mating. So you better make sure you're in a position to support that child mentally, emotionally, and physically. I think a lot of the problem is we don't make the distinction in terms of fatherhood and interaction with women to choose the right one. I think before you can get to the problem, you got to get to the root. And one of the
roots. It doesn't even matter if you hate your wife or
right,
whatever.
right.
It's
about the
still you. Like,
right.
The thing is, like, it's like blood. Like, it's like I feel like having like a blood connection is past physical. It's more like on a spiritual level. It's like a bond that just can't be broken. Like,
say that again.
It's like a bond that can't be broken. Like you're forced.
Sure.
You're first. Like,
Wow.
It's like you have no choice.
Wow.
It's like, why don't you just step up and raise your kid? Like, I know it can be hard on you, but it's like it's just a kid. Like, it's you. Like, how are you gonna like abandon them or do something stupid for that? Like, you wanna.
I know what you're
I just
saying.
can't help saying like it's your kid. Like, it's you.
So basically, more parents
Why
need.
would you not want success for your child?
More parents need to really honor the role of parentalhood.
I need to summarize this. Why would you not want success for your child?
Right.
Why not?
Right.
Like, do you not understand it's a life? That like they'll grow, they'll love, they'll die. Like that's life. Like, why would you not want them to succeed? And what can you be so evil-hearted of you? And what have they done to you that you don't want them to succeed?
Right. And I think when you think about that question, you say, some parents say, all right, well, you graduated high school. I never did that. Nobody in my family has. So they feel like
I mean, they're intimidated by their kids?
Yeah, let me say this. They've done that, and they feel like that's an accomplishment, which it may very well be. But in a society, you want more than your child to just graduate high school. I think more parents should set goals, short-term as well as long-term, for their kids. And it varies in different cultures. You got to recognize it.
The thing is, why do you not want your kids to do better than you did?
Right. So that's what it all goes back to.
How does that make any sense? Like, why do you want to feel better than your kid?
Right.
And no matter what, if you love him, he'll love you back.
Sure.
It's like, he can be the richest guy in the world, but he will still respect you the most. If you still love him, if he still loves you, like, why don't you want him to succeed?
Right.
Like, you always see, like, famous people, like, anyone, they always, unless, like, their fathers ran away on them or something, like, if they usually had, like, a good family, they always talk about their family. They're always, like, giving props. They're always, like, I would have never done this. Their family's always there for them, too. It's like, isn't that the whole point of, like, life? So the previous generation, or the next generation is better than the previous?
The next generation is better than the previous.
I mean, that's like the point of immigration also. That's like why you move to another country.
Right.
So your children will do better than you.
And I say that, it's funny you mentioned that. I graduated high school with a .75 GPA, right? There were a lot of different things that I had challenges with as a kid. You know, I didn't have the ability to articulate what I was going through at an adolescent, at a young child, you know. So now I learn, and I'm watching